In the previous episodes of my attempt to repair this crash-damaged Tesla Model 3 on Sam's Rebuilds, we removed the old dashboard and installed a new one. We then fitted new airbags for the steering wheel and seats along with new seat belts. Next, we repaired all the damage caused by the previous accident at the front end of the car. Finally, we replaced the pyro fuse and managed to get the car charging again. But then, the car suddenly stopped charging, taking us a few steps backwards. Now, let's continue. So, it has been exactly 2 weeks and I was never able to start this Tesla or to get into the service mode. I tried to access the car using Toolbox, which is the official software by Tesla, but that needs the authorization code. Tesla still haven't transferred the ownership of the car to me, so I cannot really use a Toolbox. I went to them, they couldn't really help me, and it was an ongoing battle, and the reason behind it is this computer. So this is what we call a VCFRONT, and all the wires that connect to this VCFRONT are located right in here in the front end of the car. So all these different connectors, they get hooked up, and then the battery gets installed right in front of this computer, and this serves a very important role in the management of the car. The door handles work with this, the screen works with this. It basically manages most of the items and accessories in the car that are not connected to the high voltage battery. And when you get into an accident, what happens is that in this computer, it triggers something called a load shed. And you need to cancel that load shed after you change the pyro fuse of your high voltage battery. Otherwise, this computer is gonna stay locked out and you won't be able to really do much anything. You won't be able to drive the car. So there are two ways to do it. Either you can use a Toolbox software from Tesla to clear the load shed and have this computer up and running, or if you're like me and basically Tesla is forcing your hand to buy a new one, you can opt in for a second-hand one. So I have bought this one used. It has never been into a crash, and now we need to install it in this car and see if with this one we can access the service mode from inside of the car, and from there we can have the car up and running and moving. Okay, now the replacement module is in. I had to replace this battery as well with a refurbished one because the old battery was dead and they couldn't recover it. So this is the refurbished battery. That's the second-hand VCFRONT. I have my jumper situated, so what I'm gonna do now is to connect the battery, turn on the jumper, and then after that, let's see if we can get into the service mode. Okay, it's on, but the car is not really functioning. Okay, I had to redo the connections for the jumper pack, but it seems like it's working now. Oh, okay. We can get in. And now for the moment of truth. Let's see if we can get into that service mode. Yes, we are into the service mode. Finally. This is amazing. Now we can use the service mode to actually do some stuff and have this car maybe, just maybe, moving. So what I'm gonna do now, since we have a brand new battery and new VCFRONT, I've been told I need to do a reinstall for the software. Let's do that quick. So it's updating to a very old version, like a 2024 version of the software that he has. Okay, now the software update has been completed. So now we need to go to low voltage, power distribution, and so MOSFET is open. I feel like I'm back to software engineering. Everything is done through the screen and you have to click some buttons and then says in progress, and then you just have to wait and see what happens. Like, this is to connect the new battery and introduce it to the system. This is so crazy, like the amount of time this takes to unlock. It's been a few minutes and it still says in progress, and the battery is still red in the car. and this thing is spinning. Okay, the battery is still disconnected. I have a hard time closing this MOSFET or whatever this means, but for the time being, let's see if the car actually moves or not. So let's put it in reverse. Oh, okay, yeah, it moves. Perfect. This is amazing news. So the car actually moves. The high voltage battery is working again. So that means our VCFRONT is okay. We just need to get that lithium-ion battery to be working again. I think what I'm gonna do is to update the car to the latest software and try to close that MOSFET or whatever that means and try it again. And everything went downhill from that point. I tried reinstalling the software again. I tried updating the car to the latest version, which is not easy thing to do. You constantly need to give car external power, and I have a limited battery to give from my jumper pack, so that's always been a constant issue with this car. And at the end I gave up because I cannot update that VCFRONT without Tesla's Toolbox 3 software, and Tesla is not giving me access to it because Tesla is not recognizing me as the owner of this car just yet, and it's an ongoing email battle and discussion with them. So I had no choice but to go with the next plan, and that was to return that VCFRONT, which was actually working, and the only issue with it was not recognizing the 16-volt battery, and instead it was expecting a 12-volt old school lead acid battery. And I returned that and instead got a 2023 one. I hope it's in working condition. Technically this should expect a 16-volt battery because all the Teslas made from 2023 onwards had the 16-volt battery. So this is my last hope trying to resolve this car and being able to send it for painting and final assembly. If this doesn't work, we have no choice but to put this build on hold until we can get our hands on a Tesla Toolbox 3 software. But let's see, maybe this will work. Let's put it on and let's see what happens. All right, I've attached everything in. I'm gonna connect this troublemaker back in, turn our booster, put it on overdrive, and we probably need to reinstall the software again. Okay, so it's booting up. Let's see if this menu will show up. Perfect. So we don't have any blockage for the service menu. Now we need to reinstall the software for this. As you can see, it does says incompatible drive system software detected. So let's reinstall everything. All right, I reinstalled the software and it's the moment of truth. Let's see if this is gonna work now. All right, it's really yelling at me, but let's go to... Oh, so it's reading some values now for the battery. That's a good thing. Let's relearn the battery now. All right, let's see how this is gonna work now. Oh, so it's not reading the battery again. Why? And suddenly it works. Everything's green. Oh my god, everything's closed, everything's green. It's charging, it's charging the battery. It actually worked. Oh, I can finally finish off this car. Oh, it actually worked. So everything in terms of energy is working, is getting energy from the high voltage battery and giving it to the low voltage, and it's charging it up. All right, so everything's working now. I'm just going to go and schedule this car to be fitted with a new bumper that we got for it, plus to be repainted, and all the issues with the paint to be corrected. And this is great news, and the car is actually charging the low voltage battery, and finally we can now give it to the paint shop. Thank you so much all for staying with me during all these projects, watching my frustration, and I'm very happy that we actually have a resolution to this problem. But thank you all, and I catch you all on the next episode when I show you all the finished Tesla and any little things that we need to do to finish off the car. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I'll catch you all on the next episode.